I finished the book and I went there all prepared and I knew what to talk about. So I'm assuming this week, once again, I will do the same thing. I will just read the book probably on Monday or Tuesday, go on Wednesday and be all like, yeah, I know what we're talking about. I'm so educated and cultured. Ha ha ha. This week I have to read a book from Ranpo, Edogawa Ranpo. He is a very old thriller writer, thriller author of Japan, and he's like legendary. He's like very, very old. Obviously he's no longer around, and he was one of the first thriller authors in Korea. So I have to read that. I have to go and I gotta do the studying thing with them. And yeah, wish me luck so that I wouldn't procrastinate. My procrastination will end up well. Please wish me luck. Do you guys procrastinate? If so, do you get things done eventually? Let me know. Today is another Saturday episode of Art Attack, so we have a bunch of segments that I really like. Let's go listen to a song and I'll be back to introduce these corners. This is 17 by Do-young.
Sitting on the bus, on the way to work again. Every day is just the same, but I do it anyway. We all reach those moments in life, caught in the motions, but you kept me hanging on. When you were here, 모든 것이 so simple. 고민할 필요 없어, clearing out my mind. 밝은 햇살 느껴져 마치 first time. 어디든 그곳이 like home. 밝게 빛나던 summer, 모든 게 다 first and free. It felt like, it felt like, don't want no other thing if I had you here. All I want is to feel that way. When we were 17, 재워보니 that was a long time ago. 한번 보고 달려서 and no time for having fun. I never thought I'd be here so soon. Where did the time go? Somebody take me back, yeah. When you were here, 모든 것이 so simple. 고민할 필요 없어, clearing out my mind. 밝은 햇살 느껴져 마치 first time. 어디든 그곳이 like home. Don't want no other thing if I had you here. All I want is to feel that way. When we were 17, the air used to feel magical. The sky was so blue. These days all I see is shades of gray. But then you were around me, I feel brand new. Won't you take me away back to this day? 찬란했던 you and me. It felt like, don't want no other thing if I had you here. All I want is to feel that way. When we were 17. Take me back to when we were 17.
Arirang
Radio.
That was 17 by Do-young. It feels like forever since I was 17. What did I do when I was 17? I was at Arirang Radio when I was 17. You guys are listening to Art Attack with your pretty little Iris. Let's talk about what we are doing today on Saturday's show. In the first segment, we have Checklist, where I introduce Korean literature to you guys, even if it wasn't my taste, even if it wasn't something I enjoyed reading. If I think that you guys might enjoy it, I still bring it in. Although today I did bring in a book I gave 5 full stars to. And in hour 2, we have Travel Diaries with Professor Cynthia Yu to talk about nature, food, culture, just anywhere where we can travel to and enjoy somewhere away from this big city. So, yeah, I hope you guys tune into the whole show. We're gonna go listen to one more song and I'll be back with Checklist. This is Shh by PBG.
Bullshit. Yeah. Boy, just 이끌린단 건 알지만 shut that water, yeah, it feels right. Yeah. Sugar sweet, 한 방울씩 drill. 이끌린 내게 no quit. You better hush, hush. Yeah, you better hush. You got me saying 심장 소리만이 loud. Baby, don't panic. 그저 깊이 느껴 나. 얼마든지 원한다면 견뎌봐. 네 멋대로 해도 난 No, I never can but yeah. Bullshit. 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 Think no more and kiss me now. Bullshit. Bullshit. Speak no more, just feel me out. 이미 달아오른 이 안에 blood. 휘저었어, cause smooth. 이 느낌만이 rude, you were confused. 쓰려도 삼켜, my toxic. 그래 이래 boy shit. 가능하지만 just feel it. 아껴둔 이 모든 system You got me saying 머릿속은 좀 더 loud. 나로 fantasy 감각들을 깨워내. 뭐라든지 난 멈출 수 없잖아. 네 맘대로 안 돼 난 No, I never care but you. Bullshit. Bullshit. Think no more and kiss me now. Bullshit. Bullshit. Speak no more, just feel me out. I'm born sweet, 천천히 I'm killing it. Sugar ray 중독된 넌 깊숙이. I'm born sweet, 끝없이 이끌리지. 손끝이 닿은 그 순간 시간도 잊고 빠져가. 어지럽게 녹아든 채 너를 삼킨 danger. Hush. 넌 쉽게 kill you. It's my time. Bullshit. Bullshit. Think no more and kiss me now. Bullshit. Speak no more, just feel me out. I'm born sweet, 천천히 I'm killing it. Sugar ray 중독된 넌 깊숙이. I'm born sweet, 끝없이 끄달리지. Born sweet.
There's a saying, live always in the best company when you read. I give you guys book recommendations to add to your list. Let's call it the checklist. I think this corner is the only corner on Art Attack where I speak in a more calm, toned down, comfortable voice. Usually I kind of have a higher toned voice, but when I do checklist, I feel like it's this intro song. This opening song makes me kind of become more in that comfy librarian mood, so I talk more softly and quietly, I think. So yeah, today on checklist, I brought in another novel. I feel like almost all the time on checklist, I will be bringing in novels, because I usually just read novels. I'm not a huge essay fan. I'm not a huge whatever else books fan, like nonfiction fan. I usually like novels, so we're probably going to be speaking a lot about stories in Korean literature. And today, this book is an emotional roller coaster. I love this book so much, and it's very interesting because it's not the easiest book on earth. And I heard such great things about this book, and I saw bookstores promote it, and I was always like, I want to try it out. I want to try it. It's probably going to be hard. I don't know if I can understand it. I want to try it. And it was always on my to be read list, to read list. And one day I signed up for this book club membership from a very famous publishing company in Korea. And part of the welcome gift was choosing some books. And this was one of the books I could choose from the welcome gift. And I was like, oh, hey, maybe this is my time. And I chose this book. I got it delivered. And that's how I started reading it. The title of this book is called Whale, 고래, written by the author 천명관, 명관천, and this is translated into English. This was released in 2004 and it is a fiction novel. Although it was released in 2004, it was shortlisted for the Booker Prize in 2023. I've been bringing in a lot of Booker Prize books. We started from Hangang Vegetarian, which won the Booker Prize, and then I brought in Cursed Bunny, which was shortlisted, and then we're talking about Whale today, which was shortlisted for the Booker Prize as well. Although it wasn't a book I brought in, I did talk about Love in the Big City, the film and the movie, which the original novel was shortlisted once again for the Booker Prize. So yeah, today I brought in another book. I'm so happy Korean literature is getting so much recognition recently. Way to go. Okay, so this book, wow, there's just so many things to talk about. And I read this year. And if you follow me on social media, not only my main account, but probably just my blog post, or if you follow me on one of my private Instagram accounts, which is I'm Your Scary Movie. It's private, but if you request, I let everybody just follow. So if you haven't followed me yet on I'm Your Scary Movie, you should go and request follow because I sometimes post book posts over there. And I have a post on this second account. It's my Finsta, basically. It's my spam account, and I don't really post often, but you can still check it out. If you go to this account, I have a recent post where I have some pictures I took of this book, Whale, and I have some highlights on it that I posted. So if you're interested, you should go check that out. I read this book in Korean though, but it is translated very well, I'm assuming, into English. It's probably translated very well because obviously it was shortlisted for the Booker Prize, and the book that got shortlisted is the English version. And I'm going to quote what the Booker Prize explained about this book on their official website. They explained it as a roller coaster adventure through Korean history and culture, a magical epic about life, death, liberty, and bricks. Literally bricks. If you read the story, you will understand why I'm talking about bricks here. I will talk about what the book is about later on in detail, but let's talk about the author a bit. 천명관. He was born in 1964, and fun fact, his birthday is January 1st. Isn't that cool? He debuted in 2003 with the short story Frank and I, and before becoming a writer, he wrote screenplays. So he was kind of in the movie industry. And he is friends with the director Chang Ang-jun. So the director Chang Ang-jun is a very famous director, not only for his movies in Korea, but for his appearances on shows, on entertainment shows, variety shows. He's a very funny guy, and he does a lot of things. He is married to the writer of Kingdom, Kim Eun-hee writer, and she wrote Kingdom. What else did she did? Signal. She did so many famous things in Korea. She also did Chirisan, Chiri Mountain with Chun Ji-yeon. She is like so famous in the thriller industry in Korea, and they are married. And he actually talked about Chon Myung-kwan in another TV variety show he was on. He said that they worked at the same movie production company and they were just working together. And then Chon Myung-kwan started writing novels, and obviously he did so well. But then one day, Jang Hang-jun was like, hey, why aren't you doing any more movies anymore? You should still do something in the music industry, in the music business. Not music, movie, sorry. In the movie industry. And so Chon Myung-kwan actually directed a film recently called 뜨거운 피, Hot-Blooded, and this stars the actor Jung-woo. And this was very recent. I saw it on an OTT platform. It was uploaded. I didn't watch it yet, but I saw it recently, so if you guys are interested, you guys should check that out as well. I was really interested because I was like, wait, this author, I love his work. I wonder what kind of a movie director he is. So I am interested to check that out. And he won the 10th 문학동네 Novel Award, which is another famous publishing company in Korea. He won the award with this book, Whale, in 2004, which makes me think this was already an acclaimed book in 2004 when it came out, but it got shortlisted at the Booker Prize in 2023. So it's kind of like, you never know what's going to happen with things you do, especially as an artist. You never know when whatever you made will be like in the light. And as someone that constantly makes things in the arts area, I feel like that was very, I wouldn't say cheerful. I mean, it is a good thing. It does cheer you up as an artist. But even if you guys aren't artists like Chon Myung-kwan or a musician like me, whatever you do, it comes back to you. So I hope we can all work on things, try our best to make it 100%, give your all. And if you gave your 100%, I'm sure good results will always find its way back to you. No matter how long it takes, the world will realize it soon. So guys, let's all be hopeful. I love this novel. I have so many things to talk about, but in the meantime, we have 2 perfect songs to listen to, and I'll be right back to talk more about the book. This is Kore Whale by Agnew, followed by Kore Whale by Chitun. Whale, those were by Agnew and Chitun. This is Art Attack by DJ Pretty Little Iris, and we are talking about books here on Checklist, our Saturday corner. Today I brought in the book Kore Whale by the author Chon Myung-kwan. Now let's get into detail about what this book is about. I am once again going to quote what the Booker Prize uploaded on their main website. If you guys are interested, by the way, you should check out their website, their post about this book. They have like in-depth kind of reviews about it. I wasn't trying to spoil it too much today, so I'm going to try my best to explain it and make you get intrigued without spoiling it. But if you don't want to read the book and you still want to know more about it, then go check out their website for sure. On their website, this is how they explain the synopsis. It says, set initially in a remote village in South Korea, Whale follows the lives of 3 linked characters. Kumbok, an extremely ambitious woman who has been chasing an indescribable thrill ever since she first saw a whale crest in the ocean, and her mute daughter Chun-hee, who communicates with elephants, and a one-eyed woman who controls honeybees with the whistle. A fiction that brims with surprises and wicked humor. This is like a very good abbreviation of the story without giving big spoilers. I would say this is a grand story that goes down generations. It is about different generations. There are so many characters, but it revolves around 3 female characters overall. And let me just say this one thing, guys. It is super provocative. And I don't think I say this often, but it's very provocative. So read at your own risk. When I was reading this, I was like, 어머, huh? Because it's so provocative, but it's not provocative as in like a bad way or like a dirty way. It's one of those stories that your grandma or grandpa tells you. It's old fashioned and it's funny, but it's provocative, but it's not like weird, you know? It's not like it makes you feel bad or anything. It just feels like you're listening to a super old lady telling you a bedtime story that's satire and funny. So yeah, I just wanted to mention it is kind of on the provocative side. And it's super satire. It's like so satirical, but it's also sad. So this story has a combination of sadness, the provocativeness, the funniness, being so satire, but then also like hitting your heart, but then sometimes being heartwarming. So when I was reading this book, I just couldn't put it down. It's a quite long story. I think it's about 500 pages in Korean. I'm not sure how long it is in English, but it is a heavy book. And also, the book I had was hardcovered, so it was super heavy. It felt like a brick. And I just kept reading though. I just loved it so much. The storytelling is so good. It's not one of those stories where the narrator is like, this person did this person did this. But the way they talk, the way this is written, it really feels like the narrator is a storyteller. It's not just like random sentences talking about things or incidents and accidents that happened, but it really feels like he is talking to you about a story that he also heard from his grandma or like his great grandma's great grandma. Like he would say things like, oh, reader, don't you worry, but this has happened. Oh, reader, by this time, I'm sure you have realized, but this girl did this. So it really feels like you guys are connected. It is definitely a fun story. There's really no other way to describe it perfectly, but you get invested. And I would say if you aren't really familiar with the olden days, and I mean olden days as in like real old, not the 80s, 90s. We're talking not even 19th century, like we're talking about way long ago. Probably like, I wouldn't say like Joseon dynasty, probably a little bit after that, but just long ago. And it feels like one of those tales you hear like on a grapevine. It's not something that's true, so you don't know to what extent all these stories are true and to what extent these are fake, but that's also the charm of this story. Okay, let's talk about this character, Kumbok. So the first part of the story is kind of related to Kumbok, this woman's life, and she is loved by many men. So apparently she has like this charm that draws all these men near her. She meets many men and she once is poor in her life. She literally spends time on the streets. She meets poor men, she meets rich men, and so many things happen to her. She once is rich, like very successful. Her life is like a definition of a roller coaster. So many things happen to her. She goes through so many stories and thick and thins. You're kind of like, yo, bro, like your life, what has gotten into you, Kumbok? It's kind of like, what did this woman do? But at the same time, she's so strong. She's so strong and independent. She goes through everything and she like finds her success. There's days when she feels like she can't make it anymore, but then these days she's like, no, I can do it, and she proves it. Basically, Kumbok's story is so interesting because she meets so many types of men in her life, and all these men like come and go, and that's like a really funny story you'd be invested in if you read the book. She isn't the warmest person ever, but it's like there's this thing about her that gets you interested. You get curious about her life. And then there is Chunhee, who appears a bit later in the story because she is the daughter of Kumbok. So obviously when Kumbok is not like pregnant and she doesn't give birth to Chunhee, Chunhee doesn't appear. But Chunhee is not loved after she is born. She is not loved by her mother, and she is not similar to her mother. And Chunhee knows herself that she is not loved. Chunyi also goes through a handful of events. She goes through some bad phases in her life as well. Well, basically, she's not loved by her mother, so she has like this thing inside her that's always lacking. And I wouldn't say Chunyi has a very happy life, so you feel her. You kind of get invested in her story and you hope good things will happen to her. So you just keep watching and keep reading until something good happens to her. You're all waiting for that star moment for her to happen, that moment of a miracle. It's so hard to explain what happens in this story, guys, but let me just say it's not thriller. It's not gory at all. Just believe me. It's not romance. Maybe it's a little romance, but it's just like how humans live. It's like an everyday human tale. I would say it's kind of also like a folk tale. It's very, very fun, guys. I just really liked it. And surprisingly, I thought it'd be hard to read, but it wasn't hard to read at all. So go search it up, guys. Do some research. And if you feel like you'd get invested because it isn't a short story, I really recommend you go ahead and read it. I gave it 5 stars. I love it so much. There are so many quotes in this book as well. So yeah, if you decide to check it out, definitely let me know how you guys feel. Well, I really want to read this book in English too because I'm curious how it got translated because it's a very Korean tale. And it's very Korean, so I'm kind of wondering how they made this easy to listen to, and I'm curious if they brought the same satirical funniness. It's very sarcastic as well, which is funny because you don't really think of sarcasm when it relates to folktales. And about the director I mentioned earlier, Chang Ang-jun, he actually introduced this book in another show that he was on, and he explained it like this. He said it feels like Tim Burton wrote Toji, and Toji is another very famous novel series in Korea. It's another very serious historical fiction, and he mentioned that it's like a historical fiction book that's very famous and legendary, written by Tim Burton, so it has that quirkiness. So I definitely recommend this book to you guys. Of course, for checklist, we end off with a quote that I brought in, and I did bring in the English version of this quote, but when I read this, I highlighted it in Korean. But yeah, let me read this for you guys and explain what it means. Ahem, ahem, getting ready with my voice. Life is sweeping away the dust that keeps piling up. Death is nothing more than dust piling up. So this quote happens kind of early in the book. I think it happens in the first 10 or 15 pages. Life is sweeping away the dust that keeps piling up. Death is nothing more than dust piling up. Sometimes I feel like we think of death as such a big thing. But when you just think about it, it might not even be a big deal. And that is what I try to tell myself a lot recently. I tell myself that really death isn't something big. It's not something that I should be overreacting about, and that it doesn't have to be bad. It doesn't have to be negative. And yeah, of course, there are big downsides to death, but I always wanted to remind myself that there are probably many good sides of death. And I just like to remind myself of this thought so that it helps me cope with many deaths to come in my life, because I am only 22 and I know that there will be many separations in my life. So yeah, I hope you guys feel the same positive way about certain things in your life that you fear. So today on Checklist, I talked about Whale Kore, written by author Chun Myung-kwan. If you guys ever decide to check it out, then let me know your thoughts. I love listening to your thoughts, always. So yeah, let's go listen to 2 songs and I'll be back. We're done with today's checklist. This is 기다린 만큼 더 Till the End of Time by 검정치마, followed by 청춘 Day by 우효. 더 Till the End of Time by 검정치마 and 청춘 Day by 우효. Let's go listen to one more song and I'll be back. This is 한 편의 그림처럼 Like a Piece of Art by Casey.